Livingston and Tangela too, and our host Vincent Van Dahl, and he brings it to ya! Creature features and all creatures and all creatures, and the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom light. He'll grab your head and give it such a bite. You may even die, just from a fright. You ain't nothing gonna be, baby. You ain't nothing gonna be alright. 'Cause the creature gonna get you, baby. Gonna get you tonight.
Let's chat about the year 1933, shall we? Because many extraordinary events occurred during that year, including the fact that it was the worst year of the Great Depression. Construction of the Golden Gate Bridge commenced. There was a horrible drought that created the Dust Bowl in the Midwest. A bloke named Adolf was appointed Chancellor of Germany.
Don't look at me, I wasn't even born yet.
The first drive-in movie theater opened in Camden, New Jersey. Prohibition was repealed in the United States, and a 1 hour and 5-minute film starring Lionel Atwill and Fay Wray titled The Vampire Bat was released and may have very well played at the Park Inn Theater in Camden that same year. Welcome to Creature Features. I'm your host, Vincent. The lovely little lass loitering to my left side would be the brilliantly baffling and most beautiful bantling Tangela. And hailing from Germany, though having nothing at all to do with the appointment of the aforementioned Chancellor, is my loyal and lugubrious land manager, the laudable Mr. Livingston. And do we have a most splendid program in store for you? Firstly, as mentioned prior, we shall present The Vampire Bat from 1933. It's a wonderful classic horror film, which we've shown a time or two before. Tangela informs me that we've only shown this film once prior for episode 97 on October 27th, 2018. She also adds that this particular day in October was mild in temperature, only partly cloudy, and the number one hit in the US at the time was Girls Like You by Maroon 5 and Cardi B. My goodness, Tangela, I know most women have excellent memory skills, but your ability to pull forth these random facts on cue is particularly curious. Perhaps you can use this vast storehouse of knowledge with which you've been endowed to remember to clean up your chambers now and then.
Here, here.
Guest-wise, we'll be joined again by the wonderful author and historian David Skal. He knows everything about classic horror films and maybe even more.
He certainly knows a good deal more than you.
Oh, do stop being so butthurt, Livingston. You not only made that quip about your home country purely in jest. David will tell us everything we need to know about tonight's film, bring us up to date about his other projects and public appearances, and give us his opinion on more contemporary films. So don't go away, for it is to be another night of vampire fright, right here on Creature Features.
He's right, you know.
Stay tuned.
Portions of Creature Features are brought to you by the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Explore the mystery at winchestermysteryhouse.com.
Welcome to Creature Features Saturday night. It's a fun night to be watching Creature Features because it's the only night we're on. That's not true anymore, though. We're on Fridays as well now.
Yes, I've noticed.
Friday nights, Saturday nights. You know, it's
streaming anytime.
It's a testimony to my lack of a social life. No, it is. I mean, what kind of bloke stays home on a Friday and Saturday night? I bet you, David Skal, go out and party on Friday night.
Well, not since I discovered Creature Features.
There you go.
Ever since last year when I appeared here for the first time, I've just fallen in love with the show.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
I missed a lot of this. I'm supposed to be a big, horror film historian.
Right.
Well, in the early 70s, when they did all of these made-for-TV horror movies
Right.
that you specialize in,
We love them.
I was going to college in a town that had no television signal.
How sad.
It was really weird. There was
But
no.
I bet you
there
were a
was-
wonderful student because of that.
I
fact.
was. I ended up on the
Right.
dean's list.
Right.
But I didn't have TV. There was no cable. There was no home video. There was no streaming. There was no
Right.
nothing.
So you
I
missed that
missed,
entire decade.
half a decade.
Right.
And so I'm discovering these things for the first time.
How
and
fun.
And you guys have really nailed the kind of horror hosting I grew up with.
Well, thank
And
you. Thank you. And by the way, introduction, David Skal. He is a scholar on horror, right?
Some say, yes.
Author. And you're like the smartest person we know about these original classic films. No, all we've got is Tom, and he's smart, but he hasn't watched all the films you have or not studied them like you have.
Well, I have been pretty obsessive about this. I never thought it was going to become a all-consuming preoccupation of my life.
You're like the Wikipedia of horror films.
Well, people ask me why I write these books, and it was because I grew up as a monster kid in the 1960s
Right.
with all of the magazines and the model kits and the original horror hosts, and then I grew up, and somebody asked me if I wanted to write a book about horror movies, and I said, yeah, but it's going to be difficult because I don't know the backstory of any of these things. I know what I read in the magazines and this and that, but by that time I had a whole career in the theater, and I knew something about the performing arts, and there's always a backstory, and there are always personalities.
Of course.
Very big personalities, and well, you have some around here. So there's always something that hasn't been told.
Right.
And I was lucky enough to start this when a lot of the people from those films in the 20s and 30s were still alive. They were, in their 80s and 90s. And I got to meet some of them and, kind of coax out
You're so
some
lucky.
juicy stories.
No, yeah, we've had a few, only a very few that are still around, and to meet like some of the big ones like you mentioned.
Well, I met, let's see, and I didn't meet Dwight Fry because he died 10 years before I was born, but I did know his son, Dwight Jr.,
Right.
who was both his father and mother were from the New York theater, and like so much talent, when the talkies came in, there was this migration to Hollywood,
Right.
and Dwight Fry was part of that. Bela Lugosi was part of that. He had a hit in Dracula on the stage in New York.
Right.
And then, but there were so many because actors were trained to use their voices. And a lot of directors came from the stage because the directors in Hollywood didn't know
Right.
how to handle actors speaking. The director
Because it was
did the
such a
talking.
new thing at the time.
The director did the talking, giving
goodness, right.
instructions, and sometimes they would have a musician on the set and to create a mood. But it was a whole new kind of filmmaking, and these horror movies were part of it. And Universal was, first in line, and the other studios wanted to imitate it. In fact, they wanted to shoot their own cheap horror films on the Universal lot, and the studios have always, rented out their spaces. So
This film we're showing tonight, The Vampire Bat, does
It
that
w-
fall into the cheap stage?
it was cheap. It looks much better than its budget because
Right.
they shot it on the sets. There were sets from Frankenstein in here, the whole European village,
Right.
From the Old Dark House,
Right.
another James Whale film.
Right.
And 15 minutes into the film, and there are props too. Somebody finally just pointed this out to me, and I don't know why I never saw it, but 15 minutes in there's a scene in a morgue where they're looking at a woman's dead body, but if you look over to the side, on a little shelf, there is the very dragon-shaped candlestick that Bela Lugosi carried down the stairs in Dracula.
We have to watch for that.
I made a still image and Tom may be able to do something with
We'll
it.
pull it up. We'll pull it up. All right, what do you say we start the film?
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll talk about some more of the background on this one. The Vampire Bat from 1933. Stick around. You guys, you don't want to miss this film. It's a good one. See you soon.
This brief moment of tranquility has been brought to you by Nightscape. Relax and sleep better every single night with this and other videos from our free YouTube channel. Learn more by visiting nightscape.co today.
Welcome back. We are watching The Vampire Bat, 1933, with Mr. David Skal. He's an expert on these things. No, you're
I'm
like
told.
a ninja.
A ninja?
Right, you fight the unknowledgeable and give them knowledge. That is your power.
I'll go with that.
Right? That's
Thank you.
good. That's
Yes.
good. So this film, lots of bats, lots of vampire bats.
Lots of vampire bats, although the villagers don't believe it's the bat that's doing the blood sucking. They blame it all on kind of a simple-minded unfortunate played by Dwight Fry, who was Renfield in Dracula.
A simple-minded unfortunate. I'm going to put that into my lexicon because that's such a wonderful phrase.
You have to be careful the kind of words you use to describe people with disabilities these days.
Right,
but he is definitely, this is a kind of character who you wouldn't see in too many movies today.
I like the fact that there's villages as well.
And they're angry villagers,
I would like to live in a village where there's villages.
but not angry ones.
Not angry villagers. Who are not angry at me.
Well,
Right. That would be best. So this film, you say, was made on the Universal lot.
it was made on the Universal lot, and it was made by Majestic Pictures, which was a small independent outfit. And it capitalized on the fact that the Universal films were very, very popular by that time. Universal had really cornered the market on horror films, but Warner Brothers wanted to get into the act, and so they had done Dr. X with Lionel Atwill and Fay Wray, and it was a Technicolor, two-strip Technicolor. It was an early version of Technicolor. And so that was a gimmick that really drew them in. And it was followed by one called The Mystery of the Wax Museum, again with Atwill and Ray. And Majestic thought they would capitalize on using both the stars and its own half-hearted stab at color. In the later chase scenes where you see the where you see the villagers carrying torches as they hunt down poor Herman. Originally, the individual frames of the film were painted yellow and red, and so there were suddenly color torches going across the way, and so they had their small-scale version of the Warner Brothers color.
Now, Fay Wray, what was her appeal in all these horror films? I was she in King Kong and
She, like Lionel Atwill, came to Hollywood. They both had stage backgrounds and did various things, but they found their real stride doing these thrillers, and they both became associated with the genre. Faye was the first scream queen, as we call them today. She really truly was. And she did Dr. X, and she did The Vampire Bat, and she did The Mystery of the Wax Museum, The Most Dangerous Game, which was all about human trophy hunting, and then King Kong, which earned her a place in heaven forever.
Right. Everybody
and
remembers her from that.
Atwill came from the West End Theater and via the New York Theater, and then he came west with the migration of talent. And he specialized in Shaw and Ibsen and classical theater, but Hollywood liked, because of his very deep, resonant, mellifluous voice, it made him very good for villains and very authoritarian figures. And he, I wouldn't say he wasn't typecast in the same way other actors, but he usually played something that had a villainous edge to it, and very much a forerunner of the kind of parts Vincent Price would play. In fact, The Mystery of the Wax Museum was remade as House of Wax, which established Price as a
really, but that was originally Atwill's.
That was Atwill's.
Right.
And his career crashed and burned in the 40s because of a sex scandal.
Oh no!
That
he was involved in?
He was involved in. He threw a wild party at his home in Hollywood, and like a lot of people in the business who had their own movie theaters at home and projection equipment, they liked to show their friends stag movies, as they were called then. Porno. Right. And apparently people were there watching them in the all together, and there were some reports of sexual assault, and he got into trouble not so much for that, but he wouldn't snitch on the people who had attended.
Oh, wow.
And as a result, he didn't go to jail, but he got, I think, 5 years probation.
Good Lord. And
his career was kind of in the ashes after that.
Well,
although he still would show up in the 40s in various films, some of them for Universal, but a really wonderful performer, and everybody else was watching these movies too. Right. And having wild parties and orgies. And
he just got caught.
He got caught.
And, sadly.
But Hollywood's always been like that.
Right. What do you say we get back to the film?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get back to the Vampire Bat. When we come back, we're going to hear some more interesting facts about this film from Mr. David Skal. So don't you dare go away. And we're going to do mail next. But then after we do mail, we'll be back with Mr. Skal. See you soon.
Portions of this program are brought to you by Micromat, making products that keep your Macintosh running at its best.
Welcome back to the show. We are going to do some mail because we got mail, actually.
We have actually gotten mail.
Yeah, we've received mail, and if we receive mail, it is our obligation by law, according to the Supreme Court, that we should read all mail.
I beg your pardon?
No, it's a new law they just came up with. No, it's a new lie I just came up with, but it's the same.
You watch way too much television.
Right. No, well, David stepped away because I think he's going to go get a copy of his book. He's going to sign it. And it's going to say, "Dear Mr. Livingston, read this book so you are not such a skeptic of horror films." Yeah? All right. How about some mail, Mr. Livingston?
Speaking of book, there's one from West Yorkshire.
Oh.
Britain.
He's from Britain. Look at this. Wow. Customs declaration. He declared it had a value of £10.
That's a lot.
10 quid for this book. All right. Oh, this looks interesting. Let's read the letter first. And why don't you look at this before I look at it? That way I can see what's going on here. All right, this is from Graham Jenkinson in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire. You know, we don't have anybody named Graham here. That's a purely English name. You never see anybody here in this country named Graham.
I believe it's Scottish, but...
Is it Scottish?
Graham.
There's lots of Grahams in England. Yeah,
Perhaps.
We need more Grahams here. And we need somebody to open a cracker company named Graham.
I think it's been done.
No, it's not a trademark. That's the thing. It needs to be a trademark. Grams Crackers. All right, he goes, greetings from the UK, and I hope that you're all well. Vincent, Tangel, and Livingston are here with us every night via YouTube. Thank you so much for your show, Creature Features. Great movies, great guests, and great memories. I'm sending you my latest book of short stories and poems, all horror-based. I hope you enjoy the book, and I would love your opinion on what you find within. Would it be possible to have an autographed photograph of you all to add to my horror collection? I think we might be able to pull that off, sir. Best wishes to you all, Graham and Angie. Keep up the good work. The show is brilliant. Regards, Graham. Well, thank you so much, Graham. Show me the book. What is it? Is it good? A good book. Vampire Journal. Audie, String Guy. Oh, I'll put up a big picture. But, oh, look at this. This is wonderful. This is easy reading. This is the kind of book I can read. You know, when it's got the dense text. No, it makes me tired. It makes me go to sleep. I never finish a book like that, but this one I could finish. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for sending it. Next up, Mr. Livingston.
We have an email with a photograph.
Oh, I like emails with photographs. It appears to be
2 photographs.
2 photographs. All right. This is from Jack. It's Jack. Jack. We showed a film recently about Jack the Ripper. Not the same bloke, I hope. All right, hello from Livermore, home of world-class wineries and birthplace of the H-bomb. Really? No, we know Livermore.
Livermore Labs.
Livermore Labs. No, but we drive by Livermore when we go to Los Angeles.
Yes.
To get to Highway 5. Livermore is right by Highway 5. So he goes, my wife and I have been Creature Feature fans since early in the Bob Wilkins era and love your continuance of the show. My wife, Lenny, is turning 65 next month, and I've already bought for her Tom's new film as a birthday present. That would be Tom, our director's. Which I wonder which film she bought. It must have been the Creature Feature one, right? Right. When I noticed that her actual birthday, September 10th, was on one of your broadcast days, I thought I'd better write and ask if you could send her a happy birthday during the letters section of that show. Well, obviously, we're too late for that. However, a happy birthday, happy belated birthday. And, you know, for those of you sending us birthday requests like this, you have to send them like a long time ahead of time, right?
4 weeks at least.
4 weeks at least. Well, no, but we've got to go through all the mail. Sometimes we get a big stack of mail. It's so big that it's taller than Tangela.
2 months at least.
2 months. No, a year.
A year would be good.
No, a year might be too much. All right. 2 months and 7 days, maybe. By the way, I loved your playing Mars under the opening of last night's show. But to clear up one common misconception, John Williams did not rip off Gustav Holst in the Star Wars score. In an old interview, he said that Lucas originally wanted to use the planets in the movie, with Williams providing incidental music. Williams suggested that he could write a score in the Holst style that would be much better integrated. Fortunately, Lucas agreed, and I agree as well. And he includes some photos. Look at this. He's a mad scientist. We're going to put some big ones up here, but he is a genuine. This is the way mad scientists should dress. Not the way. No. The blokes at Livermore Lab do not dress like this.
Thank goodness.
No, it's not thank goodness. They have no class or style, whereas Jack does. Thanks for writing, Jack. And happy birthday, Leslie. What's Leslie, right?
Andrew in New Zealand.
Andrew in New Zealand. Just want to say, keep up the good. I wait all week for the new show to be posted. My wife always knows when I'm watching your show when she hears the music. Again, thank you, Andrew in New Zealand. Oh, he works for this company. It's called Sportino. It's got this neat logo. Do you see this?
Running Man.
It's a little bloke kicking a soccer ball, I think. Yeah, somebody gave me a rash of trouble the other day because I called the sport soccer.
Heaven forfend.
Well, it's not football.
It is football.
No, it's called football over there, but the original name of the game is soccer. The Americans say it correctly and the Europeans do not. I learned this from Wikipedia.
That is the last letter.
That's it?
Thank goodness.
All right. If you'd like to send a letter of your own by email, send it to the address right here, but make sure you include where you're from because we like making fun of
That would be good
your
to
city.
know.
It's good to know, that's why. And if you'd like to send something in the post, like a wonderful book that you or possibly wrote or you possibly did not write, send it to the address you see right here. We'll be back soon with Mr. David Skal, but first let's get back to the Vampire Bat.
This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
David Skal, famous historian of horror. Do you ever color your hair?
Should I?
No. Well, no, it looks lovely, but have you ever done it?
No, I haven't.
I'm thinking
You
of
have, though,
stopping.
haven't you?
No, I think my hair is almost as gray as yours.
Oh.
It is. No, maybe I don't know. I was covered with paint, but that's neither here nor there. The Vampire Bat, fun film. You know a lot about this film.
I've hadn't watched it in years until you asked me to come on. I've watched it several times recently, and there are so many connections to Universal.
Give me 15.
15. Well, I can just start. The Melvin Douglas, who appears in this film, he is the second male lead after Atwill,
right?
Whose love interest is Fay Wray. He was one of the stars of The Old Dark House. And if you watch The Old Dark House, you can see him walking up and down some of the same staircases.
Now, we recently showed the 1963 version of that film.
Which has nothing to do with the...
not related at all. So it's not considered a remake, just the same name?
It's, yeah, basically.
Right.
I think it may have, they may have acquired the rights to the original novel, but didn't do much with it.
Right.
But but all kinds of people pop up. The Lionel Belmore, who plays the Burgermeister in this film. Sometimes he's a Burgermeister, sometimes he's a Burgomaster.
Yeah, what is a Burgermeister? Is that a mayor?
Yeah, basically. And but he did that for Universal all the time. He was the Burgomaster in Frankenstein for Universal, and he was another British actor. He worked with the great Victorian actor Henry Irving, who so he knew Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula.
The Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker was Henry Irving's right-hand man and would have signed Lionel Belmore's paychecks.
My goodness.
And his sister, Daisy Belmore, was another British actress who appears in Dracula as one of the passengers in the coach at the very beginning of the film.
Wow.
And I'm sure I haven't done it, but I bet you can go through these films looking for props and pieces of furniture and
of course.
And it's
how
really
many times have
fascinating.
we seen that same Jacob's Ladder?
That one I couldn't quite place it. It looks like one of the ones from Frankenstein, but I don't think it's from Frankenstein. Somebody will tell me I'm wrong, but it was all at their disposal at Universal, and the art director for the Vampire Bat was Danny Hall, who created all of those wonderful sets for Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein.
Those are incredible.
And I mean, he really created the whole look of the Universal films, and it was probably his idea to bring out that the candlestick that Lugosi used.
Right.
And as the film goes on, you can see Dwight Fry borrowing from his portrayal of Renfield. He does that laugh, which Dwight Fry Jr. told me that when he'd go out to a restaurant and use his American Express card, waiters would come back to him and hand it and say,
No.
yes.
That's wonderful.
Well, it's a compliment.
It is wonderful.
There are many moments that come straight out of Dracula. Fry, he was a very good actor. He was a very versatile stage actor. He did a lot of comedy,
Right.
which Hollywood didn't give him the chance to do. I mean, he became rapidly typecast as the monster sidekick, the hunchback laboratory assistant.
Igor.
He didn't play Igor, but he played Fritz, the little hunchback in Frankenstein,
Right.
who helped the doctor, and never got away from that sort of thing. And he played the Peter Lorre part in the very first version of the Maltese Falcon, and but it was bizarro kind of parts that got him, and his career just didn't take off. And he died prematurely in 1944, I think it was. He was a devout Christian Scientist and had concealed a heart condition from his family and refused to,
that's too bad.
employ
Right.
conventional medicine. And he took his son to a movie matinee in Los Angeles one Saturday, and on the bus on the way back died of a heart attack.
That's depressing.
It was very depressing,
Yeah.
and he could have done so much. And it's a shame we don't have a real, recorded record of all the things he did on the stage
Right.
in New York. But he appeared with all the big stars. He didn't do leads, but he appeared on stage with Frederick March and with Bela Lugosi, not in Dracula, but in other stage plays, and he is a favorite. And I think it is that laugh, that maniacal laugh in Dracula, and nobody has done it better, and that's why.
It's his trademark now.
That's what in Dracula Dead and Loving It, Peter MacNicol does the most incredible imitation of Dwight Fry through the whole movie in the Renfield part.
Right.
But it's more than an homage. I mean, he just channels it completely. But
fun.
it's the part that everybody wanted. Universal wanted Lou Ayres to play Renfield in Dracula. Of course, he went on to be Dr. Kildare and that. And excuse me. They wanted him to play John Harker, the ineffectual leading man, and he said, "No, I want to play Renfield. That's the part to do." And of course, it's the plummiest part.
Right.
He doesn't quite upstage Lugosi, but he walks away with a lot of the film.
Right.
And of course, his is the only real story going on. He has the most to gain and the most to lose. Will he get eternal life? Will Dracula ever appreciate him? And it doesn't go well for him. But he's got the real dramatic arc in Dracula. And here he has another tragic arc, and he is not permitted to, it's not a spoiler, I don't think anybody watching is expecting him to make it to the end of the film. But great actor. And I was, when I was doing my first book, Hollywood Gothic, his son was also living in New York, working in the theater still, and came down to my office and just brought a bunch of his father's original scrapbooks. And it was just amazing. It was like getting into a time capsule.
Right.
And there was
That's nice that stuff's still saved.
It's
in existence.
It's great. So I've over the course of my career, I haven't collected originals, but boy, I've photographed a lot of scrapbooks and things like that. There's a record of them. They're just,
you need to keep them digitally in case there's a fire. Let's say we get back to this film, and when we come back, we're going to find out about some of your books and some of the other things you've done as well, right?
We will.
All right, off we go, back to The Vampire Bat, 1933. Don't you dare go away. More fun stuff coming around the corner.
is Brian Borden from Michigan. I just wanted to say hi to Tangela, Vincent, and Mr. Livingston. I love your show. I found you in February of 2020, and you guys helped me through some very trying times. I'd like to request The Legend of Lizzie Borden, since I am her great nephew. I'd love to see that movie with Elizabeth Montgomery. Bye.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Not now. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, I don't know what to say. I mean, they've missed most of the movie. They've missed most of the interview. I think they should just watch Saturday Night Live. Or what's left of that, you're too late for that as well. So who knows? Anyways, we are with Mr. David Skal. He knows everything about this film and many more. And you've got 2 books we're going to talk about, right?
2 books, especially this year. I've been doing this now for... some of my books are approaching their 30th anniversaries.
My goodness.
And they've stayed in print, and I've been able to revise them, which is good because you spend a lot of time working on these things, and then the book is published, and then somebody contacts you with, oh, I loved your book, and
by the way,
here's something you didn't know about. And so I've been able to constantly expand and revise and clarify and sometimes just fix dumb mistakes that only I know about. But 2 of my books, Hollywood Gothic, The Tangled Web of Dracula, From Novel to Stage to Screen, was my first nonfiction book in this new stage of my life that started in 1990. Is finally an audiobook that I have performed. I've done audio commentaries, and I've narrated some documentaries, and people seem to like to listen to me, and people have been telling me for a long time, why don't you do an audiobook?
Right.
Well, finally an audiobook publisher asked me, and so that was done simultaneously with Dark Carnival, The Secret World of Todd Browning, the man who directed the movie of Dracula, but also Freaks, one of the great scandalous films of the 1930s.
Wonderful film.
So both these books deal with a lot of Dracula, and it was a fascinating experience because it's a lot more time-consuming than you would think.
Right.
I mean, basically for each book I spent about 20 hours total recording them for less than 10 hours of finished material.
Right, because you have to do retakes.
You do retakes, and you cough and you flub.
Right.
And it's never smooth.
Now, did you do this in a studio or just at home?
In a state-of-the-art studio.
Right.
And I'm glad, because I really I really appreciated the technical help I got.
Right.
And then they go through it with computers, and they stabilize and standardize the amount of space between words and the amount of space between sentences. But the first day was kind of rough because I've done a lot of public speaking, and I've had some theater training, and your first instinct is you want to project. But with an audiobook, you don't.
Yeah.
It's very intimate. You want to be quiet.
Right.
You want to hardly do anything.
Right.
And so I think it got better and better as the 2 weeks went on.
Interesting.
And but they're out for the Halloween season, and they are right now they're available for pre-order on on Amazon and
Do you have a
Audible.
website that we could go to?
And my website, monstershow.net.
Monstershow.net.
And there will be a CD version. There will be streaming versions.
Oh, wonderful.
And I hope people will enjoy them.
Well, they'll go visit the site, and they have all the links there to Amazon and all that. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. Good. There you go. Well, let's say we get back to the film, eh? All right. Off we go. Back to the Vampire Bat. Don't you dare go away. See you soon.
Hello, this is Mr. Livingston. It would appear I have been tasked with requesting you to help our show financially by visiting our Patreon page. Your generosity will help us keep Creature Features on the air. With only a few dollars a month from you, your kindness will allow us to continue creating new entertainment for your viewing pleasure each and every week. And if you have the desire to give more, you might even receive a gift from Tangela. I think not. Please visit the website below to learn more. Thank you.
Special delivery from Miss Tangela. Ooh, candy.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Not now. Stay tuned. This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Bats, bats, bats. There's bats all over the place in this film. You know, you think somebody would come out with a big can of spray Raid and just shoot them all down.
You would think, but
One would think.
it's a horror movie. People don't do the logical
The
thing.
movie would end too quickly. Yes,
That's right.
That's right. I keep forgetting these things. In any case, let's not talk about this film anymore. I want to talk about Nosferatu because it's a big deal.
It's a big deal this year because it is the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu, which is
100 years.
the very first Dracula film. And it has a lot to do with my book, Hollywood Gothic, because I discovered in my research that Florence Stoker, the widow of Bram Stoker, found out about Nosferatu and that it was supposedly a freely adapted version of Dracula to which she owned the rights.
Right.
And it was a total plagiarism. It was a total ripoff. And they were brazen about selling it in Germany and around the world. And she took them to court for years, this obsessive legal battle to the death. And it was such a juicy story. And I found all the correspondence in England at the British Library. Nobody had taken a look at it or quoted it before. And it was just like a novel. And she was a character, and everybody around her was a character. And so the book was all about all the people who tried to control Dracula, make money from Dracula, and usually ruin their own lives in the process. And but Nosferatu is a great example of German expressionism. Dracula in the film is not at all like Bela Lugosi. He is not suave. He is not seductive.
Right.
He is a rat-like creature with insect-like fingers. And
What was the actor who played
Max Schreck.
Max
Who's,
Schreck.
that was his real name, and it
Right.
actually means terror in German.
Wow.
And fortunately, even though Florence Stoker got the courts to order all prints and the negative destroyed, it escaped to various corners of the world.
Right.
And it was only in relatively recent years that we've seen the film as it was originally intended. And this is the 100th anniversary of the
100
film.
years.
And in just another 8.5 years, Dracula and Frankenstein are going to have their 100th anniversary. And
My goodness.
I can't promise I'll be around, but that'll be worth looking forward to. But
Nor can I promise that we'll ever be able to show those films, even century-old cinema. No, those the Universal
well,
won't
unless
let anybody
they
show
might
it.
go into the public domain.
They will or they won't?
If Congress pulls, a Disney and
Right.
extends the copyright, then maybe not. But they are coming up to the end of their what was supposed to be the end of their copyright.
Right. Something will happen. Something will get switched. Somebody will be elected and it won't happen. All right. Well, what do you say we finish up this film?
Let's do it.
And then when we come back, we'll talk about what you're doing next. Okay. All right. Off we go to the end of the Vampire Bat. Don't you dare go away because Tangela's going to be here. And if she knows that you've left, she's going to send you a gift in the mail and you won't like it.
This brief moment of tranquility has been brought to you by Nightscape. Relax and sleep better every single night with this and other videos from our free YouTube channel. Learn more by visiting nightscape.co today.
And that brings the coffin lid down on the Vampire Bat. It was the doctor and his assistant.
Yeah.
You knew already. I forgot about this movie, and I completely forgot that was going to happen. What did you think of the film? You liked it? She always likes the
It was
black and
good.
white ones for some reason.
It has more of a nostalgia quotient than a lot of,
It does.
because of its
It
association with other better films.
does. No,
but
it does. It has that whole motif going
it
on.
pulls you in.
It pulls us all in. It's like a Venturi or like a hurricane or a whirlpool or something silly like that. Anyways, what's up next for David Skal?
What's up next for me? Well, Nosferatu is still keeping me busy this year. I've been asked to introduce screenings all around the country
Oh, how fun.
and all around the world. In June, I went to Santiago, Chile for an amazing...
I've always wondered, is it actually chilly in Chile?
Chile. It's a Chile... No.
Is it chilly in Chile?
Well, it's summer, so it was winter there, and it was chilly.
It was chilly.
Yes.
Right.
But the people were wonderful.
The people were warm.
The people were warm
Right,
and friendly,
right.
and they love movies. They love cinema. They take it seriously. And they had a week-long celebration of everything Nosferatu.
Oh, my goodness.
And
We
I had a
need to
blast.
get on a Chilean TV station.
And I'm working on a new book now called I Hear America Screaming, the Politics of Horror.
The politics of horror.
And this is probably, I'm going to get death threats after this one.
Why?
But because it's about the politics of horror and politics. And
So the politics inside of horror films?
know how the politics of our real world take their lead from horror films. And horror
Oh, I
motifs.
see. Oh, all
And
right.
it's all about telling scary stories.
Oh, all right. Now you're drawing parallels.
Oh, yes.
Is what you're doing.
There are two. I don't have to draw them. Just
Right.
how many of them can I deal with?
No, politicians are scary people.
You bet.
No, I could see. Somebody should make a horror film that's all politicians,
I do it.
and then the citizens could be the zombies.
They always are.
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, that sounds like fun. And then you're living in Glendale still.
I still live in Glendale,
You know, I used to bounce around
near
Glendale all
Forest
the
Lawn.
time. Right.
Probably more dead movie stars there than anywhere in the world.
Oh, that's a great place. I love cemeteries. She loves cemeteries too, but when I bring her along, she brings a shovel.
Ah.
No, and immediately we get kicked out. There are cemeteries in this area that say Tangela is not allowed. No, it's a true story. No,
Kind of understand that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming up again, David. And next time you're in town, you come see us. And by then, you'll probably have 5 more books written.
Probably.
Right. And if you've got any movie suggestions for us, you do let us know, right?
I will.
All right. And as far as you guys go, thank you for staying up and watching the show. We know you could be sleeping or making cookies or making explosives like she does, but instead you decided to watch our show, and for that reason, we love you. We'll see you next week. Different movie, different guest, don't know who, don't know what, but it'll be fun. See you then. So, David, we're
Yes?
thinking of doing a little horror movie, and if
Oh.
we do this, I'm thinking maybe you could do the audio commentary.
Oh, yeah, but I think I'd be left speechless.